Is my hairline receding? What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. I just saw, instead of Rampage, Isle of Dogs. Don't worry, I will be seeing Rampage along with 2 Netflix movies tomorrow morning, but right now we are talking about the brand new Wes Anderson directed flick, and its stars. I am not reading all of those names. If you guys don't know how my reviews work, I like to talk about the good, the bad, and then give you my score. Let's start. I really liked, loved this film. Started off hearing some great things about it, then I started to see a little bit more and more criticism. I got a little worried going into the film. I'm like, is this going to live up to my expectations? And while I don't even remember what my expectations were, I just had a blast with this film. It's my kind of humor, my kind of story, my kind of creativity on every single level. And I can talk about the technical aspects of the film all day, but literally everyone, even the ones who gave this movie scathing reviews, have just talked about how beautiful, amazingly animated this movie is. It has a roughness, a grittiness to it that just brings it down to earth just enough for you to get invested into these characters, but it just looks so good. I love stop motion. And of course, it's Wes Anderson, so he's got to center everything. It's all so symmetrical and beautiful, and I love his style, the way that he does filmmaking. The voice cast is magnificent. There are still characters in here I'm like, I don't know I've not looked it up yet, but who voiced this guy? Who voiced that guy? But you hear the ones you love, the famous ones from Wes Anderson movies: Jeff Goldblum, Bill Murray, Edward Norton, and Bryan Cranston, who I think gives a superb voice performance. But they're all good, they're all funny. Like I said, the small jokes, I don't think one joke, and I'm talking like the subtle humor, didn't work for me. It all worked very well, and I was chuckling, giggling. I started out with a smile on my face from the first scene alone when they're banging on the drums. My goodness, this film, it just made me happy and giddy. And I get it. I like it more than some other people like it on YouTube, but it's just, like I said, it's so creative and different from anything that I've seen before. I just had such a good time watching it. And it's the first animated movie in a long time where I've actually heard laughter and audible responses from the audience members who weren't children. By the way, this is not a movie that's directed towards children. This is directed towards adults. It is adult humor, so I think if you are older than a certain age, you should go, and maybe younger than a certain age, I don't know if I would. Just the small, minute details, things in the background. You have the stop motion animation, but every time you see a TV screen, it's 2D animation. What is happening there on the television screen is 2D, but in real life or in the movie, it is stop motion. Just one of those small details to me, and every single time I saw it, I'm like, I can't get over how creative storytelling this is. And the story, there are subtle problems and small issues I saw in the script and the way things were interacting, but it didn't bother me because it's an animated movie, right? You can get over those small details with animated movies because suspension of disbelief. First of all, these dogs don't talk in real life. That's suspension of disbelief. So these problems that I have with these characters interacting with each other, and in the back of my head, I'm like, that wouldn't work. They're talking dogs. And I feel like Wes Anderson has those liberties in a movie like this, so I'm okay even if they kind of struck me as a problem. I kind of overlooked it just because of the amount of fun I was having and the amount of disbelief that I had to go through, trying to convince myself, hey, Austin, this is an animated movie about talking dogs. What more do you want? But like I said, I have some issues with this movie. The lack of Japanese subtitles is something that really got to me. They use this storytelling technique where every time, not every time, but every now and then when a Japanese person is talking, someone is on a television screen doing a voiceover telling you what they are saying. Someone is typing something in English and you're getting the story from that. All things that were a decision. This wasn't just a coincidence, but in my opinion, I think this movie would have worked better with subtitles. Just get rid of the translation characters in general. I don't need that. I want Japanese subtitles. I don't think that was a decision that is going to sit well with a lot of audience members. It's something that didn't bother me too much, but if it bothered you, I could definitely see how it takes you out of this movie. And even though it didn't bother me that bad, I see it as a problem, so I have to put it in the negatives. There's also a few pacing issues at the end. I loved the first hour of this movie, and I like the way that it wraps up at the end, but there's like a 35-40 minute span where it kind of flips back and forth between some storylines that I don't think were as necessary as the ones that were put at the beginning of the film. And my enjoyment level started started to teeter a little bit. Now, it picked back up eventually, but that little span there kind of sticks in my head like that's a problem, Austin. You have to acknowledge that. And like I said, some of the character interaction is questionable. How does this human understand this dog? Does he understand this dog? Does this human understand this human, even though this human is speaking English and this human is speaking Japanese, but they're seeming to understand each other even though they don't speak each other's native tongues? Yes, these are problems, I acknowledge that, but I had so much stinking fun with this movie, and I literally had a smile on my face the entire time. I am going to give Isle of Dogs a 90%. It's one of my favorite movies of the year thus far. I think it's going to crack my top 5 at this point. I have to go look at that. If you guys want to see my rankings, they're on my Letterboxd page. The link is in the description, so thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, up to 3 reviews tomorrow or this weekend, probably tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. And MovieBabbleReviews.com. Go check out that website. It's absolutely awesome. He puts up constant, amazing articles, and every now and then, you'll see my big head pop up. You guys are the absolute best, and I will catch you later. I love dogs. I love dogs!